So this is page 16. We're going to talk about how to graph piecewise functions. I'm going to use 3 different colors, so if you have a different color pen or highlighters, that will help. So when we graph a piecewise function, what we're doing is we're graphing this top equation, which you can think of as y equals 2x plus 3, but we're only graphing it if x is less than or equal to 1. And we're graphing this bottom equation, which is y equals negative x plus 4, but we're only graphing it if x is greater than 1. So x equals 1 is our transition line where we go from one graph to the other. So I'm going to put a dotted line at 1. Here we'll put it at negative 2 and 1. And that is where it separates our graph into 2 areas, where area number 1, we're going to graph this top one because it's x is less than or equal to 1. That's over here. And area number 2, x is greater than 1, that's over here. So I'm only going to graph 2x plus 3 in this area. So do that in pink. And the first thing I need to know is where to start this graph. So I'm going to get the starting point by plugging in 1 in for x. So I plug in 1 for x. And that gives me 5, and that is the height that I'm going to start the pink at. So again, this is the transition line, so this is where I'm going to start, and I just needed to know where. And this tells me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This tells me that this top line, when x is 1, y is 5. So that's a dot on the line. Once I have the starting point, then I'll graph the slope, which is 2. And usually I'd go up 2 over 1, but I don't want to go over here. I want to go over here. So I'm going to go down 2, back 1, which is the opposite of up 2 over 1. Down 2, back 1, down 2, back 1, until I run out of space. So that is this top line. Again, instead of y-intercept and then slope, which is how you typically graph, you do find the starting height on the dotted line and then do the slope. So it's a very similar process to when you graph a regular equation versus a piecewise. Now I'm going to do this bottom one. I'm going to do the same thing. I got to plug in 1 to see where I start. And it looks like I'm going to start at 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm putting an open dot this time because it's x is greater than 1, not greater than or equal to 1. So I don't get to do a full dot. It's just an open dot. And then here, once I have my starting point, my slope is negative 1. So I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. There's my slope of negative 1.